Cheers, guys. Epics 911, welcome to
the Game and Friday edition.
The Game and Friday edition for February 10th, 2017. Just wanted to start out with a thank you shout out to Alex from Cybust. If you can see, the PlayStation VR is mounted on one of them. I'm going to be looking at that and some other units, including the often mentioned styrofoam nailed to a piece of wood. We will be looking at one of those and comparing them at a future date. Star Trek Bridge Crew. Apparently delayed again. Now, being upfront here, this was a game I was jonesing for. I'm not a huge multiplayer guy, MMOs aside. What I liked about this is just the ability to work with a small group of friends or even strangers and kind of form a cohesive unit that can run a starship. So, unfortunately delayed. It's going to be delayed till May 30th of this year, but not without some additional content. Apparently they've added the USS Enterprise from the original series. That would be a just blast of nostalgia. As far as I'm concerned, can't wait. Nor did it seem that this delay by Ubisoft was strictly related to Star Trek. South Park as well has been pushed back a little bit. So now the first story has to do with some comments and, coming from Gabe Newell, opening up at a recent press briefing. And Gamasutra was one of the companies that was in attendance, caught most of what he had to say. Now, first part he talks about is the Captain Obvious variety about future of VR, power, lighter, more capable headsets, that it's going to drive much higher computational and GPU loads. But I like what he said at the end there. He said, I would like to argue that the smartest thing AMD and Intel and NVIDIA could do is give away VR development systems to software developers, because we're going to consume the crap out of Intel and AMD CPUs, much more so than the high-end games are doing right now. And this last nugget, my expectation is that wireless will be an add-on in 2017, and then it will be an integrated feature in 2018. And basically he referred to it as a figured out technology. So if the only thing we're waiting for is them just including it and making that available to us, that is fantastic news. We know the future is wireless. At some point, it needs to go in that direction. But of course, technology needs to keep pace, because right now the 4K and the 8K stuff is going to be very difficult to pump out wirelessly. 1080p for now, sure, but the rest we're going to have to see. That's where the latency could become more of an issue. This next story gives us a unique kind of insight / perspective from a game developer's point of view with regards to releasing games in virtual reality. Now, this has to do with an Upload VR interview with Tony Davidson. He is the founder at Innervision Games, and basically they are the developers of a game called Thunderbird. So that is coming to Steam, but not to Oculus Home. And the reason for that is he feels that they would have to dumb down their game to meet the 180-degree requirement. They looked at it, they entertained it, they had communication going back and forth. And this was at that strict point in time where, there was really not much room for interpretation on 180. And they've got puzzles in the game, one puzzle at least that I know of that was mentioned, where they couldn't make that work in 180. It was a 360-degree puzzle. And for whatever reason, that's their opinion on it. They won't, by the looks of it, have a game come out on Oculus Home. All right, Amazon. This one passed me by. Amazon has been showing off a game development set called Lumberyard. And now come to think of it, I do remember mentioning it in passing, but absolutely nothing in depth. And I certainly forgot all about it. So they've confirmed, Amazon has, that they will be in attendance at this year's Game Developers Conference, and they're going to feature this. There's a video And I'm going to include the link. It's from Amazon.com's blogs, where you can basically download an application called VR Sample. It's a set of 3 levels that demonstrates techniques that they've used in this game development system of theirs. Again, VR Sample, look for that in the link below. This next news story has to do with a 360-degree video company called Blend Media. They are pretty much the holders of most of the 360-degree videos on Facebook. And CEO Damien Collier, that's Damien Collier, talked to Upload VR about recent seed funding. Didn't get into details on how much, just on some of the specifics on what they're doing and what their expectations are and their focus, which he stated was to provide support to the large and growing number of 360-degree video creators that it represents globally, and also to make 360-degree media marketing quick and easy for brands. So you can see the end game for them doesn't seem to be just entertainment, but the marketing of 360-degree videos as well. And this last story, this one is cool because we've talked about voice recognitions a couple of times in the last 2 weeks. Oculus Home voice search is now available on Rift and Gear VR. Currently, let me qualify that statement. Currently, some users are reporting this. Now, they didn't get into specifics, Road to VR that is, but perhaps it's beta testers. As I find out, I will let you guys know. But according to those people, you're able to navigate Oculus Home, launch games, all using voice commands. Very freaking cool, especially if you're somebody who might have mobility issues. To be able to do that is awesome. I mean, imagine that, Netflix. Somebody sets you up, you have absolutely no mobility, you're able to do all of that yourself just via the HMD. Very cool. All right, guys, that is it for the Friday Gaming Night edition of VR News. As always, cheers.